The production value in this movie is enormous. I don't know how you managed to, like, fill us in with so much imagery and so many different landscapes. And Roberto said that that was done for cheaper than the rest of Hollywood would do it. How do you manage?
I think a lot of things play into that. Obviously, we had a super talented director of photography, which immediately elevates your film. And so I know that Gyula Pados, our director of photography, his input was just enormous. Steve and Kayla, our production designers, did an awesome job, and I think that just knowing going into it that we had a very aggressive schedule that we needed to achieve, and
What's very aggressive?
We had a lot of...
How many days?
I don't want to give you the wrong number. I think it was like 50 some odd days. But that said, I remember Gyula and I having a conversation saying if we had 3 more months, we still wouldn't have enough time for all that we want to throw in. But I think that, just beautiful cinematography and making certain that when we do spend money, we're just spending it the right way. And Robert has this saying, don't turn the money hose on. He'd always say that, don't turn the money hose on. And I don't know, we knew going in this is what we had, and we had to make it the best we could, and we all really just bent over backwards to make sure that we were just knowing this was our one shot. We didn't want to mess it up. So.
A lot of your actors are facing crazy situations in the movie, and particularly Adrian's character is very interesting. I was wondering what was his questions to you?
Mm-hmm. I think that it's always tough for someone to play this kind of role, because to play the stereotypical badass is so it's the facade is so thin, it wears thin really quickly, and I think that you immediately have to start interjecting other things, and you have to start opening the character up just to make him interesting. So beyond the let's make sure we're making this character cool, we wanted to find that question of depth, and it's really his actions that speak louder than his words. And that goes for quite a few characters in this film, but his most important thing was making sure that we interjected that element of depth into this character. We gave him that something, and there's actually this really interesting dialogue between him and Alici Braga at one point in the film, where she asks him, what made you so messed up, and he quotes someone. Well, I'm not going to get into. I'll let the viewers see it. But the quote itself, there was a danger of it coming off as pretentious, but he says it in such a natural way, and I think the way we were able to edit the sequence just really, it gives you that insight into this character in a way that you would have never had. You would have never understood him had that conversation not taken place, and making sure that when we did have those beats, and that goes for all the characters, trying to open them up as much as we can. Louis, who plays our Yakuza character, the guy barely speaks, but he's one of the most powerful characters in the film, and it was finding those moments and making sure we hit it home when we had the opportunity.
This movie has, just the title of it has such a big follower base, fan base. What is your biggest anxiety at before the release of it?
My dream is that the fans love it.
Yeah.
And clearly that's where my anxiety lies right now. Every decision in the film was born from what will the fans like, and what will the fans respond to, and what will the fans definitely not like, and we knew there were certain things that were just saintly, you just don't touch.
Like what?
Green blood.
Okay. So you have to go with that.
You can't mess with that. That was a conversation we had early on. Do we want to do the neon blood? And that but as the question was flowing out, it was already answered. There's just certain things you just can't mess with, and
does that mean that you watched a lot of the previous Predator movie to keep them in your mind?
Well, I watched the original film before being hired probably a few hundred times, so I was pretty intimate with the material going in, and then of course I watched all the other ones for both seeing that was cool, and for also seeing maybe that's something we want to avoid.